Hey man, I'm alive. Can you spare me a five? I'm hungry and homeless, you see. I'm a veteran Christian, just a finding my mission. Man, can you spare me a five? Hi there, Rick Gonzalez-Rothi here. Today we're going to talk about a difficult topic, panhandling. I hope you'll join me. Trying to get some information about panhandling from any kind of reliable sources has been very difficult. Mostly because when there are surveys done, the people doing the surveys have to pay the informants to provide the information, and the survey responses are therefore biased. There have been other situations in which somebody has actually posed as a panhandler. It was an interesting study that a graduate student in the Portland, Oregon area did. He was in his mid-30s and was a former war veteran, and decided to do panhandling for about 12 days. And he made some observation. He gathered that he could collect about $10 to $11 an hour with a low of $5 and a high of about $24 on some hours. He remarked that about 80% of the people who donated money to him were usually middle age or over. And it took about 1 out of 59 people that he approached to donate something for him. And those donations included offers to give him a ride, job, sports drinks, cash, gift cards, and some even gave him care packages for the homeless. So this was his experience. Now you can question the ethics of having done such an observational study, and this person eventually wrote a book about it. The average panhandler is going to be a male, usually in the mid to late 30s, with barely a high school education. Most panhandlers are not homeless, although many of them have been homeless at one time or another during their period of panhandling. What you might not know is that most panhandlers are not mentally ill. Many do describe medical conditions, and because they're of the age and background that would be in the laborer force, they claim that they're not able to work a steady, heavy labor type job because of their medical infirmities. Some, however, will tell you that they just can't work because they're unable to keep a regular schedule of hours and going to work every day. And many of them actually are receiving government benefits and use panhandling to supplement their income towards the end of each month before the next check comes along. I bet you didn't know that panhandling is constitutionally protected. As long as it's peaceful, it's considered a right of freedom of speech of the First Amendment.
Get a job.
When you ask them, they just plain say that they don't like sticking to a daily schedule of having to show up for work at one time or another. You do the simple math, why would you want to work in unskilled labor for $7 or $8 an hour when you can panhandle for $10 to $11 an hour?
Money don't grow on trees, and it don't belong in the pan.
They're exercising their constitutional rights, and they don't have to pay taxes. Most major religions in the world vary in their thoughts and philosophies about panhandling. Some panhandlers can actually make up to $300 a day. What are some of the signs that may give you a tip-off that you're being fleeced by somebody who's posing as a panhandler? For one thing, look at their sign. Often these signs are very craftily made. I recently saw on Pinterest a whole section on what things to say to get people's attention to give you money when you're panhandling. Unbelievable. Another tip off if you're dealing with a fraudster is look at their shoes. Oftentimes people who are in truly dire need, their shoes reflect it. If they're standing next to a nice bicycle and have a very nice backpack, be leery. You might be about to be fleeced.
Sometimes they work in groups. They even take shifts.
You have just experienced a fleecing sensation.
Well, there you have it. All about panhandling.
Oh, and I forgot to tell you something. There was a guy in New York City. His name was Professor Irwin Corey. He used to panhandle. Died last year at 102. The guy lived in a beautiful home on the east side of New York, worth almost $3 million. So why did he panhandle? Because he gave the money he collected for medical purposes for children. That was Professor Irwin Corey, one of the most famous comedians in New York City. Never be rushing to judgment, I say. Or you might choke on your own spit. See you around.